being an immigrant entrepreneur is not easy. Being an entrepreneur generally is not easy. There's special barriers and obstacles, and I think attitudes that an immigrant entrepreneur especially has to fight against, particularly in an area where there aren't a lot of immigrants. This is not Silicon Valley, right? So before I introduce our two award winners, I wanted to read to you a little bit about a project in Detroit that is talking about immigrant entrepreneurs. I'm now putting on reading glasses. 10 years ago when I started writing and talking about immigrant entrepreneurship, I had perfect eyesight. Now I don't. So I was recently at an event in Detroit, and 500 people showed up. And it was sponsored by Global Detroit, Global Michigan. The governor of Michigan was there, and he walked out on the stage and said, Michigan's in trouble economically. We need, part of the answer, not the silver bullet, is going to be immigrants, specifically immigrant entrepreneurs. And then Mayor Bloomberg appeared by live video conference, and he said the same thing. We had a CompuWare, we had city council members, we had foundations there. And recently, the Detroit News wrote an editorial from the editorial board. This is what they said. If the state Metro Detroit would regain the economic vibrancy they once enjoyed, they must once again be a welcoming destination for immigrants. The governor has already started Global Michigan, a program to attract and retain immigrants. This initiative in Global Detroit, headed by Steve Tabachman, the former majority House leader in the state legislature, and supported by the New Economy Initiative, a $100 million economic development fund in Southeast Michigan. And here's what Steve said. He said that the immigrants are 1.5 times more likely to hold a university degree than non-immigrants. This editorial went on to say, immigrants are key to revitalizing the state. They start businesses at 3 times the rate of Michigan born. I mean, think about that. Where do jobs come from, right? They're not coming from Obama. They're not coming from the government, the state government, local government. They're not coming from foundations. They're coming from startups. Nearly 100% of all net job creation in America for the last 30 years comes from companies less than 5 years old. So the question, that's true. The next question should be, well, who's driving the startups? Immigrants. Immigrants are twice as likely to start a business, twice as likely to file a patent in America than American-born. They're more likely to have an advanced degree, and maybe most importantly, they're more likely to have access to global markets, where 95% of the world's consumers live. So I don't want to bore you with more of that, but I think that information may be helpful as Northeast Ohio struggles with the issue of how do we globalize our community. I know immigration and immigrants have become the third rail in politics nationally. In Cleveland, we don't have the luxury of waiting. Fear and our sensitivity sometimes get in the way for us to honestly discuss economic reality. And this is economic reality, that these immigrants are driving innovation, driving entrepreneurship, and creating jobs for Clevelanders. So I think, I'm hoping that Ty, in its own small way, can move that needle a little bit and get us thinking and talking this way.